This is Rod Gatlin with the Charlotte Woodcarvers Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. Today is the 8th of March in 2025, and we welcome you into another meeting. Today on our meeting, we got Mr. Rod Gatlin going to be coming back to us. He's going to be talking to us about the upcoming 42nd annual Showcase of Woodcarvers down in Charlotte that's coming up. He's also going to be doing a demonstration, so we look forward to hearing from Rod here in just a few minutes. Before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff we've got going. As I was talking about before the meeting started just a few minutes ago, next weekend I'll be up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at the Wonders in Wood show up there. And that Saturday, I'm going to be doing a live broadcast from there on this same meeting. So if you can come, try to come to the meeting. If you're in the area, come up there, check it out. If not, I'll be doing a live stream from there. We'll be talking about everything that's going on and be doing some demonstrations. There's going to be several CCA guys there. It should be a good show. So try to come up if you can. After the 15th on the 22nd, and I saw him on here a few minutes ago, Mike Bloomquist is going to be joining us again on March 22nd, and we look forward to hearing from him. Tell you a little bit about some other shows. Don't forget about Carving the Rockies. That's coming up in September on the 20th and 21st. That's the show put on by the CCA. This is the 4th annual out in Colorado Springs. I did talk to Chris Hammock, and he wanted me to let you all know that the prize money out there has been increased. So this year, best of show, first place is going to be $400, second place $300, third place $200, and then as far as the categories go, $75 for first, $50 for second, and $25 for third, and that's for each category. It's a great show. I'll be doing a lot of advertising coming up on Facebook and Instagram about that show. If you want to go out and check it out, go to the CCA website. And if you wanted to participate in the classes that are going on out there, the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday after that show, you'll need to go ahead and get signed up for those. So make sure you check that out. I think that's all the shows that I had to talk about. Don't forget about the Gathering of Woodcarvers up in Yorkville, Illinois. That's October 10th through the 12th. Again, we'll be talking about that one as the year goes on, but you can go out and check out their website and get signed up to go out there. Having said all that, again, today we got Rod Gatlin on. Rod's going to be talking to us about the Charlotte show. Been down there a bunch of times. Look forward to getting back down there. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Rod. Rod, we look forward to hearing from you. Before I get started, let me turn it over to Dave Stetson for our words of wisdom. I almost messed up and forgot. Dave, go ahead and turn it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Mike. So Mark Twain, the famous guy from the past. Yeah, he says, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. And I also wanted to share with you a word from Isaac Asimov. It says, people who think they know everything are a great annoyance to those of us who do.
All right, Dave, thank you for that. We decided last week, instead of words of wisdom, that's words from the wise guy. So you all can determine which one it was. But we appreciate Dave coming in each week and offering up some good suggestions and good information as far as motivation for the woodcarver. So we appreciate you, Dave. Again, we got Rod Gatlin coming to us. He's been on our meeting before in the past. He's going to be talking about the upcoming show. He said if there's time, he's going to do a demonstration. I know we'll have plenty of time. So, Rod, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
And Dave and Blake, thanks for helping us promote the show. This is a big help. Thank you. Guys, I really appreciate your time. It's time for the 42nd annual Showcase of Woodcarvings in Charlotte, North Carolina. We do this once a year, and hopefully some of you have been down to our show before. If you haven't, make this the year that you come. We want to see you. We have $2,500 in prize money, and we want to give it away. So please come on down and get it. From what I hear, we're now like the largest wood carving show in the country. I haven't heard otherwise, but anyway, we're proud of that, and we keep trying to do the best we can. We got a really good committee of people who spend a lot of time on this. As soon as one show's over, we start working on the next. But anyway, let me kind of give you an update on where we are with this year's show. It's free admission, free parking. It's in the Central Piedmont Community College Worrell building, which all of this stuff is on our brochure. I don't know if you guys have seen this on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere or on our website, but we'll make sure that you can get that. If not, and we can always email you a copy. But the dates are April 5th and 6th. Setup is going to be on the 4th. So vendors will be coming in to get their table set up on the 4th. Wood carvers can come in and register their carvings probably around 2:00 on Friday the 4th. We hope to have registration ready by then. You can go to our website, by the way, and find out a lot of information there at charlottewoodcarvers.com. If for those of you who haven't been before, we have a competition that it includes categories for novice, intermediate, and open carvers. So no matter what level of carver you are, you can enter the competition and be competing with people in your own line of competition. Inside each competition level, we have 42 different categories of carving. Just for example, we have about 6 different categories for caricatures. We have 7 or 8 different categories for birds. And then we have miniatures, Santas, relief carving, chip carving, busts, cypress knees, spoons, bottle stoppers, just to name a few. So if you would take a look on our website, you can download our brochure. This is last year's, but this kind of might show you a listing of the categories. And you can also, on that brochure, see our rules of competition and so forth. I'm not going to leave this up for a long time, but anyway, hope you'll take a look at that. And by all means, send us a message if there's anything that's unclear or you don't understand, or if you have trouble getting to it. We want to fix that as soon as we can. So what's going on this year? We have a couple of games that we're going to have prizes for this year, something we haven't done before. We're going to have the competition for the longest sliver. You'll get an 8-foot piece of wood. The person that wins will have the longest sliver cut in one piece with a knife. We're also going to do a game for, some of you may have seen this. So you get a 2-inch square block and carve it into a round ball and drop it through a tube. And the one that wins will be the one that goes the furthest, and there'll be a prize for that. We have a raffle every year. This is probably our biggest fundraiser for the club. We have, we have 10 different auction items in our silent auction, and there's some pretty good items in there. I know we have a Fordham, a brand new Fordham to auction off, Proxen disc sander, to name a couple of things. We also have about 100 different pieces that are actually in the raffle. A lot of those are carvings that have been donated by folks. And by the way, if you're interested in donating something for our raffle, we're still accepting donations. You could bring them that day and give them to Steve Stilitano when you get there. And you'll have ample opportunity to buy tickets. There will be quantity discounts on raffle tickets. So please help us out by buying plenty of tickets and improve your chances to win. We're doing a friendship lamp this year. We did this last year and it worked out pretty well. A lot of you may be familiar with friendship cane, where everybody gets a block of wood. Excuse me for reaching here. So this one isn't finished yet, but we'll have several people doing these little blocks, and then they'll be put down on a spindle, and a base will be attached and a light on top, and they'll put a lampshade on there, and that will be a friendship lamp. So this will be one of the auction items, and there will be several different blocks on there were donated by various carvers. And that's a really neat piece that you could put in your house and use anywhere instead of just sitting in a corner like you might do with a friendship cane, we hope. So check that out and come on down and enter some competition or enter some bids on that. Let's see, we wanted to put out there, we got probably over 120 carvers that will be entering this year. That's an estimate anyway, and we should have well over 800 carvings on display. So even if you just come down to check out the show, it'll be a good chance to see a lot of different carvings from some carvers you may not have ever met before, and you'll have a chance to meet them. So it's a great opportunity for sharing some thoughts and ideas about wood carving and just talking to fellow wood carvers. It's a great opportunity. I hope even if you don't enter something, I hope you'll come down and check out the show. As I mentioned, we have $2,500 in prize money. So how that breaks down, it's basically the best of show will win $475. Best of show runner-up will get $250. The best of show theme will be $150 and open, $100 and intermediate, and $75 in novice. And what the show theme is, every year we come up with a show theme and we ask somebody or ask people to carve something that meets that criteria. And we don't try to tell you what that is. We want you to come up with that idea. So this year, the theme is music in motion. So you got a little bit of time left. Think about it. What does that mean to you? Come up with some ideas, put it down in a carving, and bring it and compete. And even if you're a novice carver, you could still win best of show if you got the best carving. We have 8 judges coming to help us judge this show. So on Saturday morning, we'll start about 8:30 and break them up into teams of 4 or 4 teams of 2. You'll know some of these judges, and they're some of the best carvers in the country. So you'll be getting your carvings judged by some very qualified people. So at the end of the carving, or at the end of the judging process, should be around noon, hopefully a little bit before, we'll be able to open up the gates, so to speak, that are blocking the carvings off so that the judges can get around. So if you come before noon and the carvings are blocked off, you can still visit the vendors there. We're going to have several different vendors. I'll go down a quick list here in case you are interested. We'll have Silver Knife Works, Badger State Blades, Bob Statlander Carving Supplies, Alan Goodman will be there sharpening knives, the Carving Glove Guy. One of our members, Malcolm Mize, will be there selling toolboxes and jigs and some other things. Jerry Clark will also be there selling totes and pins. We have some vendors that will be selling basswood. Klingspor will be there. Norval Van Sickle will be there selling cottonwood bark. Mountain Traditions will be there. Dwayne Gosnell will be there with his rough out business. Miss Cartledge will be there. Harold Kaltenbach. Harold is a carver of cottonwood bark, and teaches classes also. Tallahassee Tongue Oil, John Dunkel Knives, Windy Cape Studios. So there's a few people that'll be vendors there. We're expecting some others too. So there'll be plenty for you guys to do and check out. And in addition to that, we're also going to have some presentations. Looking up my list here. We're going to have some presentations. 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 We're going to have some we got 5 different presentations going on during the show. So starting Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, there'll be an hour presentation from Harold Kaltenbach. He's the bark wood carver. At 11 o'clock, Ray Kinman is going to be doing a presentation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ray. He's a legacy Disney wood carver, and he teaches classes out in California. And if you haven't seen his stuff, look him up on Facebook or Instagram. The name again is Ray Kinman. He does some phenomenal stuff, and he's going to be coming out for the show. 1 o'clock on Saturday, Dwayne Gosnell will be doing a caricature demonstration. And on Sunday, we have at 10 o'clock, Mark Strucco, fabulous bird carver. He's going to be there doing a presentation on duck carving. Mark is a very knowledgeable guy and does a great job on presenting, so I think you'll enjoy that, even if you're not a duck carver. At 11:15, Ben Heineman, also a great bird carver, but he's doing a presentation on painting. So if you're interested in painting, regardless of what kind of carving you do, you might want to check that one out. Let's see. Every year we try to have a food truck guy there so that you don't have to go trying to figure out where to go for lunch. And this year it's going to be Grumpy Grandpa. And I don't know him personally. I don't know how grumpy he is, but I'm told he has Americana foods with some Mexican. So that's all I know about that. So hopefully he's good and we can get some burgers and fries and stuff like that without having to walk too far. If not, there is a Bojangles and some other restaurants nearby. So let's see, that's about it. Every now and then we get a question about, what happens with the money that we make from our show. And to be honest, our goal is to break even. And that's pretty much where we come in. We either break even, lose a little, or make a little from year to year. But over the years, if we have a surplus, we do have charities we like to give to when it comes up. This year, with all the trouble that went on in the North Carolina mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, the club decided to give away $1,500, and they split that up between Wood for Warriors, Samaritan's Purse, and Carolina Relief. So those groups have done some great work in the mountains of Appalachian, and they're still needing help up there, guys. So if you need something to do on a weekend, grab your chainsaw and run up there. Believe me, there's plenty of trees down. Anyway, enough about that. Are there any questions, Blake?
Will Interstate 40 be open by then? Someone's asking.
I heard recently that one lane was open westbound, and I think they've got 2 lanes open eastbound, and no trucks are allowed. So that's what I heard. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's right. That's what I've heard appear to, right? So
So by then, hopefully.
another question, and this is just for me. Will you all still have the traditional whittling competition where it's timed and you're able to carve whatever you want to?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah, Mitch Cartledge runs that for us, and usually around 1 or 1:30 on Saturday, we'll have an hour and a half, and Mitch will give everybody the same size piece of wood, and you'll have an hour and a half to carve whatever you want to. And then he'll have a judge or judges come in and judge those pieces, and everybody gets a prize that enters. And it's really just for fun. It's a great camaraderie thing. So if you're coming down, bring some carving tools and sit through the carving competition. It's fun, and you'll win something for sure. But if you win first, second, or third, something like that, you'll get a little bit better prize. It's mostly about bragging rights. Sunday we redo the same thing, but it may not be at the same time. It's probably around 2 o'clock. The only thing you need to know, though, is if you do decide you want to compete in that competition, you need to go by Mitch's booth and sign up with Mitch or Paige to get on the list for that. That helps them out a lot.
All right. Any other questions for Rod about the show coming up? I can definitely speak the same for the show. I've been down there, like I said, a bunch of times, and it's one of the best shows that I've been to as far as, opportunity to interact with people, be able to buy or participate in the auction, buy supplies and things like that. It's just a really great show. So I encourage everybody to go down. If we don't have any questions, Rod is also going to do a demonstration, right? So if you want to turn your camera around there, I'll tell them
Okay.
about the Rocky Mountain Carvers Roundup that's coming up, and we'll get you set up to do the demo. On May the 19th through the 23rd, I'll be out in Midway, Utah, at the Rocky Mountain Carvers Roundup. Again, that's the 19th through the 23rd. There's 5 days of instruction out there. I think Dave Stetson's going to be out there. There's about 7 different instructors that are going to be there teaching classes. If you want to take some great classes, make sure you go out there, sign up, and come out and join us. Again, it's similar to the roundup that's happening in Lebanon, Tennessee here coming up in a week or two. But it's going to be a great opportunity to take some classes from some instructors that you haven't learned from before. So just encourage you all to check that out and go out and sign up if you want to come out and join us. Rod, we'll go ahead and turn it back over to you. Looks like you're ready.
Okay, thanks, Blake. And if anybody has any other questions while I'm carving here about the show or anything else, just let Blake know and he'll interrupt me. I'm just going to carve a caricature face in a triangular shape of wood here. And I'll talk a little bit, but probably not talk a whole lot. And if you have questions, just holler out.
Hey, one other question, Rod. John Nelson wants to know if you have to be present at the show to participate in the silent auction.
Good question. You do not. So tickets before you get there for some reason, or have someone buy them for you, or have to leave, make sure you put your phone number on there, and you do not have to be present to win. But you might have to pay the shipping. Good question, John. Also, if you can't make the show yourself, but you have friends that are coming, you're more than welcome to send your carvings with a friend, and they can bring them, register them for you. But sometimes people will come from neighboring cities, and the friend down with their carvings, and they'll come down the next day and pick up theirs and somebody else's, just kind of as payback. But you don't even have to do that. As long as you make arrangements to get your carvings back, we can't be responsible for that.
So tell us a little bit what you're doing there, Rod.
Sure. I'm carving a caricature face. Here's one I did a little bit earlier today. And I've done some others over the years. I like to do this. A good practice, and it's fun just to kind of try different faces. And sometimes I'll sit at wood carving and kind of stare at people that I'm carving with, and I don't tell them. I try to carve their face, and they're probably wondering now if they were one of them, but. And it's just fun, just play around with it, and you get some ideas as you're going. Gives you a chance to play with wrinkles or skin or just all kinds of stuff, different kinds of noses. But anyway, the first cut I make on these is usually this cut under the nose right here, which is what I'm working on now. And then the second cut is the top of the nose, right where the eyes will end up going.
Hey, Rod, back to your all's club. Do you all meet on a regular basis? And if so, is it informal or is it a formal meeting, or what do y'all usually do as far as the club goes?
Yeah, we meet every Tuesday, and it's pretty much informal. We meet at Carmel Presbyterian Church on Sharon View and Carmel Road. It's at the corner, and we're in the back parking lot. There's a building back there, and you can park back there and just come on in. We have usually just a kind of announcements that someone will make right before lunchtime, and then usually there'll be a fairly good sized group that goes out to lunch together. So it's somewhat of a social thing as well as carving. But there are people there from 9 a.m. until about 6 p.m. You know, people coming and going. So if you are in Charlotte, even if you're not a member, come on by and carve with us. But if you're in the area often, please consider joining the club. We'd love to have you as a member. We need more people to help us at the show.
Another question in the chat. Got somebody coming down from New York that's going to be in the area, and they're going to have their dog with them. Are they allowed to bring the dog into the show? Good-mannered dog, polite, no issues. Will they allow them to come in?
I don't believe dogs are allowed in it. Now, if it's a service dog, I don't know I can't answer that, but we can find out if that's the case. If you would send a text or email to, you can find an email address on our website, I think, and send a request. And if you can't find it there, you can send it to me, gatlinrw@gmail.com, and I'll make sure the right person gets it.
And if somebody's not going to be, and you may have covered this, but if somebody's not going to be at the show and they want to get in on the silent auction, do they really need to have somebody there to bid for them?
Well, how else would they bid?
I think that's what they're asking. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to put a bid down for you if you can't be there. We don't have a phone in, if that's the question. We don't have a way of phoning in and putting bids in. And if I'm not getting the right question answered, just let me know. This is going to be the mouth. I like to put smiles on these guys, so I usually just take a gouge to start this process. Don't want to go too deep.
You all offer classes too, Rod, at the Charlotte Carving Club. Is that right?
We do. We have a few different ways of doing classes. Usually within the first few weeks after the show, we have some beginners classes that we offer for people. So if they're just wanting to get started and don't know what to do, because we have a lot of people that will join the club at the show, and so we'll have some people sit with them, and usually there'll be a project set aside for several people to work on at a time. But if you're been carving a little bit longer and you want a little bit more help from more experienced carvers, say, then we have classes at the barn that Jerry Clark handles, and we occasionally have classes at our meetings that'll be a little bit shorter sometimes. And we do, if you're, I'm trying to not quite sure how to say this. Anyway, we have a retreat once a year up in the mountains. It's at a place called Wild Acres, and they have a great facility that we use up there. And we try to get 2 instructors a year up there to do 3-day classes back to back. And so we're up there for a week usually. It fills up pretty quick with members, but we do open it up to non-members if we have space, usually around April or May timeframe. And this year we got Jim Heiser coming down. Thank you, Jim. And Mitch Cartledge will be there for 3 days also. So some of the best. This is the line for the teeth. Can everybody see this okay, or do I need to get this camera closer?
I think you're good where you're at.
Okay. Sometimes I do these with teeth on the upper and lower. Most of the time, I just put a tongue on the bottom. It's a little bit easier, and most of the time it looks better too.
Hey, Rod, I know sometimes you have carvers that come in and they'll get a table to be able to sell carvings at. Is it still open for people to be able to do that, or is it too late?
No, we still have a few tables left. I would encourage people that are interested. The tables, I think they're for a 6-foot table. I think it's a little under 100, and for a 8-foot table, it's a little over 100. I don't know the exact prices right now, but you could also, if you got a friend who wants to do something similar, you could split a table. We've had people do that before, and that's fine. And by the same token, if you know someone who might be interested, please share the information with them. We'd love to find new vendors for our show. We're always trying to get new products and new people's hands and help promote the art of wood carving. That's what it's all about. So help us out if you can. I jump around from place to place on these carvings. Usually, I guess I'm knee deep, but makes sense to me. So I'm just trying to define the nose a little bit better, pushing the side up the side of the nose and into the eye socket. Then I'm coming around the top of the eye socket and popping that piece out. Then I'll open up that area a little bit more. Like Dave Stetson told me, got to have plenty of room for that orb in there.
And Rod, is Vern Parrish still a member at your all's club?
He sure is. Vern doesn't make it to meetings a lot of times, but he is still a member. Vern won Best of Show at the CCA this past year.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. If anybody wants to come and see the piece that he presented last year, I'm sure he'll probably have it there.
Actually, he entered it at our show last year before we went to the CCA.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, but I could ask him to bring it if he would.
Yeah. It's a great piece for sure. If people haven't seen it in person, they really need to see it. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Vern's a great guy.
For sure. And having said that, it looks like Tony Folletti won second best of show at the CCA competition last year, and he'll probably be at the Charlotte show this year, right?
He will. Tony will be one of our judges this year.
Yeah. So it's a good opportunity to see some people that maybe you haven't seen or you've heard of their work, but you haven't met them in person. Rob Stack wants to know, did the piece that you're carving on start as a 2x2 just split on the diagonal?
Yes. Top view of it there. And yeah, so that's a 2x2 cut on the diagonal, and it's about 4 inches long.
And then another question, they're wanting to know on a comparative basis, is the Lancaster show or the Charlotte show bigger for those who have attended both?
I haven't been to the Lancaster show. I want to go, but someone else will have to answer that. Is Jim out there? I don't know which one is bigger. They're different though. So if somebody else can answer that, that's fine. I would say go to both of them.
If I could throw my 2 cents in.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah, Charlotte has a lot larger of a competition than we do, and they kind of focus on that. And I believe we have a lot more tables and exhibitor tables that you can walk around and talk to the carvers better. But I've been to both, of course, and you know, they're both really good shows, but they're both very different shows. That's the best I could say. I can't tell you whether Charlotte's bigger than us. Their competition is certainly bigger. That's no question. But overall, as far as attendance and as far as carvers there and things like that, I'm not sure. You know, you could probably argue either way, but they're very different shows, is what I would say. If that makes any sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, that from what thank you, Bob. And that's what I've heard is that you guys in up there don't have the competition the same way we do, where all the carvings are displayed. Everything that's entered is actually displayed out on the floor, but people have to display them at their tables. Is that right, Bob?
Yeah, that's correct. We have our competition is, and the classes are smaller than yours, not as large. And we have our competition is judged in the morning between 8 and 10, and the show opens at 10. And then at 10 o'clock, the competitors take their competition entry pieces back to their individual tables, where they display them with the rest of their work. They take their ribbons and everything back to their tables so people can go around and like, for example, Jim Feather, they can see how well he did and talk to him about his carvings that you know, that he had in the competition and his other carvings. So it's kind of, I think Blake will find out next weekend. It's just a different way of having a show, sort of. We have a lot more tables set up and a lot more carvers behind their table displaying and talking about their own work. But I've been to Charlotte a couple times, and it's a great show. I mean, there's no question about that. It's just kind of not apples to oranges. But yeah, we don't emphasize the competition near like they do in Charlotte.
You need to come back down, Bob.
I'd really like to, but traveling's really hard these days. I hope to get back again sometime. I really do, but I don't know when it'll be. It won't be this year, I know. But I would like to get back.
We'll keep a chair for you.
Okay. Don't hold your breath, but I might show up someday when you least expect me. It's certainly a great show, no question about that.
What other shows are people familiar with that they enjoy, and what kind are they? I went to a show down in Florida a couple weeks ago, the Arcadia show, and that was totally different. I mean, everybody that wanted to could just buy a table to display their carvings or sell products. It's in a pretty big building, but it was different than what I was used to. They don't have a competition there.
One of the shows that I like going to is the North Alabama Woodcarving Show in Huntsville, Alabama. It's in, I think, in November, early November, and it's set up similar to the way the Charlotte show is.
How big is it?
It's somewhere between what Hickory, North Carolina has been in the past and what the Charlotte show is now. It's not quite as big as Charlotte, but it's not as small as Hickory. And of course, I know Hickory has woodworking and stuff too there. So
yeah, that show in Hickory's put on by Klingspor, and they give space to the Catawba Woodcarvers Club for the little separate area for their show there. It's a good show if you get a chance to go.
The North Alabama Woodcarvers Association, they have classes, 3-day class before the show and then a 3-day class after the show. And I'll be teaching the 3 days before the show if anybody wants to check that out and sign up.
I kind of forget people are watching me doing this. If I'm blocking the view at all, let me know.
We had a good show last weekend in Arizona, but we only had about 500,000 people through, so not near as big.
500,000?
Did I misspeak?
Did you say 500,000?
I didn't count people. I just taken it.
You got anywhere from 5 to 500,000 go through. That works.
Jack Harris says Smoky Mountain Woodcarver Show in Sevierville, Tennessee is a good show. I think that's it's either in September or October. That's a great show down there in Sevierville as well.
Oh, the cuts I'm making here, I'm pushing the tongue back under the teeth, and I'm using just 3-point cuts here to get some shadows going here. And the teeth, to me, the teeth are a little flat, so I'm going to push them back under the lip a little bit more too with the same kind of a cut.
Another show that's listed is the Great Salt Lake Woodcarvers Show and Competition in March, March 21st and 22nd. The Piedmont Woodcarvers Show in Greenville, South Carolina is November 1st. So again,
that's a good show.
Yeah, there's quite a bit out there that people can go out and participate in. I encourage everybody to go out and check out the shows that are in your area.
I usually try to go to the Greenville, South Carolina show. That's the Piedmont Woodcarvers. They do a good job putting on a show down there.
As far as the Charlotte show, Rod, they can check pieces in that Friday afternoon or early Saturday morning. Is that correct?
That's right. If you're going to bring them on Saturday, we'll be open by 7 a.m. and they have to be checked in by 8:30 a.m. because that's when the judging will start and it off at that time. So if you're driving down that morning, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get there. And we are, as soon as we can start checking people in with, means as soon as we get our equipment set up and everything, we'll start registering people on Friday afternoon. And what has to happen is when we get there, we have to get all the tables set up, and we have a separate room where people register. So that's where we have to go in there and get all the equipment set up and everything. But the people that do it have done it often enough where it happens pretty fast, and they do a really good job. So they're pretty quick on getting things set up and ready to go.
Jack Harris asked another question. How did clubs determine the time of the year to hold their shows? I know Charlotte's been in February in the past. Now it's in April. Is it really just based on when the location's available, or how do you all determine when to have shows?
Well, I can't speak for other clubs. For us, yeah, when I joined the club, it was mostly, it was always in February, the third weekend in February. And for the most part, that wasn't a problem. And the story I heard was that from years ago in the area, that would make it the first show of the year. And there was several shows that were going on at that time. As time went by, that really wasn't much of, and some of the other shows kind of went away. So over the years, we considered making changes. When COVID hit, we had to close the show for 1 year, and it gave us a chance to kind of think about what we could do. And February, there was always a chance of snow. It rarely happened. Once in a while, we would have a little bit of snow. So we decided to change it to April. And I tell you, it's a really good time to come to Charlotte. I think by the time you guys get here, that first weekend in April, we should have azaleas blooming. The daffodils are blooming now. Grass is coming up. It's 70 plus degrees outside, a gentle breeze, blue skies. Boy, I wish I could be here today. But at that time, I think it's going to be a beautiful time to be in Charlotte. But I digress. So that's kind of how we came up with that date. Is we thought, well, we could do it May, June, but then we got to consider, summertime, people going on vacation, all that kind of thing. We kicked it around, even though we do have to move the date around because sometimes we decided April was a good time for us. Hope that answers the question. This is pushing the nose back into the face a little bit here. And it's getting that bulb of the nose in there. Still got some rough spots here I'll have to clean up. One little tool somebody told me about that I've enjoyed using is this is a little Swiss-made file, 1 millimeter, number 9 gouge. And if you want to put eyelids on a carving, this is great. It's the shadows and the detail on these carvings. Put a little eyelid underneath too. So that side, I don't know if you can see that, but like that little shadow there. I'll do it on the other side here.
Another question, Rod. Do you think that shows have shown a reduction in the number of people coming through, or is it about the same as it's been several years in a row. I know the Charlotte show has grown in the years that I've been going down there, but I usually don't notice if it's a bigger crowd or a smaller crowd each year. It seems to be about the same.
Well, it's something I think every show wrestles with, and part of it is not just getting the carvers there, but getting the community to come in and support it. And that takes a lot more effort sometimes than getting the carvers there. And you want to get the community to come in and see what you're doing, and recognizing that wood carving is a great they need to know about. So we try to do some promotion on Facebook, Instagram, and other things. One year we had a company gave us free billboards for a few weeks before the show, and that was great. But it's hard to tell what helps and what doesn't, even when you do it. Anything free is definitely good. But we got a lot of people that put a lot of effort into getting the show going, but you can only ask so much of them sometimes. So we do what we can, and I think for our show, the carvers have been great to support our show, and the community does pretty good. We just got to let them know about it, and that's always a challenge. I don't know if other people have found that to be the case too. But I tell you what, it would help us a lot if any of you guys were on Facebook or Instagram, if you could, this flyer that I mentioned, it's floating around out there on both. If you could forward that to all your friends and neighbors, and even if you don't live close by, they might know people that live close by. It just gets it out there in front of people, and that helps the show a lot.
So as a brand new carver, somebody's asking that's never been to a show, what is there available for somebody that's fairly new? And is it a good opportunity to buy tools?
It is. It's a great opportunity to buy tools, because some of the tool makers that you'll have there, you won't find another opportunity to buy from them online. And there at the show, you can talk to them. And you can also get someone from our club, or even someone in the crowd that you can make friends with. We'll be glad to get somebody to take you around and introduce you to some of these manufacturers and tool makers, and they can help you pick out some starting tools so that you don't waste money on things you're not going to use. And we've all been there at one point or another. I remember when I started learning, and Stan Lahr took me around and showed me some tools to consider. And the thing he told me then is, don't buy a tool until you need it. And that made good sense until I was sitting and carving and I needed something. I said, "Man told me not to buy it till I need it, and I need it now." So take that with a grain of salt.
Another thing for new carvers, Rod, I believe, is they always have books and stuff there that you can flip through and determine if it's something that you want to try to work on, or projects you want to work through. That's a whole lot better than just going out and buying something online, not really knowing what's included. So for a new carver, it'd be a good opportunity to pick up some books and stuff too, that you've been maybe looking at online, but you haven't pulled the trigger on to go out and purchase.
Yeah, you're right, Blake. That's a good point. And I don't know how other clubs are. With our club, we have a library of books. We have a huge amount of books that people have donated over the years. And any club member is allowed to check those out for a long period of time. Really, we're very flexible on that, and they can find all kinds of things that they might want to carve in there with patterns and what have you. I mean, we all know about all the books that are out there. So if you can, in your area, if there's a carving club, I would strongly recommend looking into that. And if you're close to Charlotte, come on down and carve with us. We'd love to have you. We have a lot of members who just join the club, even though they live way outside of town, but keeps them in touch with folks and what's going on in our club and opportunities for classes and stuff like that. Putting a little bit of detail in the teeth here. One thing, if you carve a carving with teeth, don't try to put too many teeth in it. If I were to try to put like 8 teeth in here, it would look terrible. But putting just 4 in there, it gets the point across and makes it look like a better piece.
Hey, Rod, I was going to ask, is Charlie Simpson's wife going to be there selling knives again this year?
I have not heard that she is, but I haven't heard that she isn't. So last time I checked, I didn't see her name on the list. So I know that subject came up early on, and I don't know the answer to it right now, Blake.
Okay. And for those who don't know, Charlie Simpson was a knife maker. He passed away during COVID. But his wife still goes out to shows from time to time and sells knives that luckily he made in advance. I don't know how many that he made, but I think there were quite a few, and she still tries to sell those. So I was hoping maybe she would be back down there.
We're going to have a lot of companies selling tools at our show. When you got Statlander has several different tool manufacturers he carries, and then you got let's see, where's my list here? You got Silver Knife Works. I'm not that familiar with them, but you got Blades. I think a lot of folks are familiar with them now. And then I think you got a couple of people selling used tools, maybe, and you got Alan Goodman's going to be there. He's usually got some knives that he's made. So lots of possibilities. I don't like leaving marks on a carving, and so I figured out that putting these tool marks on here with a wide gouge adds some interest to the carving and gets rid of all those tool marks.
And as you're finishing that up there, Rod, talk us through your finishing process as far as, once you carve a piece, what do you usually do as far as painting and stuff?
Okay. Yeah, well, I usually paint my carvings, but not these so much. These are just small pieces that like I say, I do them a lot for practice, but I do sell them occasionally. I'll take them to shows if people want to buy them. But if I'm going to finish a piece that is not painted, I will first put a coat of seed oil, cut 50% with mineral spirits, and I may put a little color in that with burnt umber or something like that, just a tiny bit to give it some color when I put the oil in there. And when I do that, it's an oil paint, acrylic, and I mix it in. I'll usually mix it in with the mineral spirits because it cuts it better and makes it more absorbent. And then when I pour that into the oil, it blends better. Trying to get some of the pencil marks and ink marks off of here now. So that's really all there is to that. Just oil and mineral spirits with a little bit of color in there. Like this is totally unfinished right here next to a piece that has had a little finish. Now on this particular piece, I probably put some wax on him after I put the oil on there. So a lot of these are like that. So oil on them. I let it dry for a few days usually, and then I'll put like bry wax or something like that on there. And you can get that with a dye in it also, so it can give it a little more color. So be careful about that. In fact, if you're going to do that, you probably want to put a 2 or 3 coats of either polyurethane or varnish, something like that, to protect most of the woods, because when you're putting antiquing on there, you don't want it soaking into all the wood. Was that confusing?
No, I think you're good. It's clear as mud.
That's what I was thinking.
So, Ron, if they have any questions, they can go out and check out the Charlotte Show's website or contact you or Jerry Clark.
Absolutely, yeah.
One of you guys can answer their questions or point them in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm happy to take anybody's questions. I'll point them the right direction. Jerry's our outgoing club president. I think a lot of folks have gotten to know Jerry over the last couple of years. He's a great guy, and he is usually available at night because he's driving a truck. So I won't speak for him because he's probably listening. But yeah, if someone will get back to you for sure.
And it looks like they have you down to teach in May at the barn. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. I've got 3 rough outs, and I'll have some cutouts too. So if you want to carve it at the barn, contact Jerry, because he is the guy that handles the barn. And for those of you who don't know what the barn is, it's just a barn out in the middle of the country. But the fellow that owns it has been very generous to, I'll say us, but to Jerry, really, to let us come out there and carve. And he carves with us sometimes. And it's way out there, so there's nowhere to go for lunch. So Jerry will usually cook some delicious hot dogs. As long as you want a hot dog, you're in good shape. Blake's been down there to teach.
Yeah, and I'm actually considering the December date for this year. So he contacted me this morning and wanted to know if I was interested. So I may try to sign up for that first weekend.
Yeah, Blake came down in December this past year, and you had a full class.
Yeah, we had a good 2 days of instruction. It's a great place to learn. And again, we usually stick to 12 to 15 students per day. He's got heat in that barn now, which really made a difference there in December. But great facilities, bathrooms, and like you said, he fixes lunch for everybody. It's really a good time to carve and take classes and visit with people.
Yeah, it's kind of between Hickory and Charlotte. It's probably closer to Hickory than it is Charlotte. But yeah, it's a good opportunity if you want to venture out there and check out the classes. Jerry has a Facebook page for it, just called The Barn. You'll see it if you're out there looking for wood carving sites. And although that's not actually a Carvers Club event, it mostly run by Charlotte Woodcarvers people, because Jerry's president of the club. So kudos to Jerry for getting that started.
Rod, we're running up on about 10 after 4. If you want
All
to
right,
give a close up there of
I
your
will.
carving, and kind of tell them what you're doing now.
I'm just putting some eyes in it to give it some life here with a pencil. So that's what I got done since we got started. It's needs a little bit of tweaking, but once I get some finish on it, it'll pop out and make somebody smile, I hope.
All right. Any other questions for Rod today? Okay. Again, that's the 42nd annual Showcase of Woodcarvers coming up on April the 4th through the 6th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope everybody can make it down there for that show. Again, it's a great show, great opportunity to interact with some other carvers, buy tools and supplies, see some demonstrations. Really just a great weekend of carving. So, Rod, I appreciate you coming in, sharing that with us today. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, and hope to see you somewhere down the road pretty soon. Again, next Saturday, I'll be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, doing a live stream from up there. If you're in the area, make sure you come to the show. Back to that original question, you can check out the Lancaster show, compare it to the Charlotte show, see which one you like better. Maybe you like both of them better and you want to put both of them on the calendar. So come out and see us next weekend. If not, I'll be doing a live stream from up there, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the next weekend on the 22nd, we'll have Mike Bloomquist in. We'll be doing or working on trying to get some of the dates filled up for April, and keep an eye out on social media to see what we have coming up after Mike Bloomquist. So thank you all for joining us today. This has been the International Association of Woodcarvers, where Woodcarvers is helping woodcarvers. Get out to that Charlotte show in April and come up and see us next weekend in Lancaster. Thank you all for joining us.
Whatever you want to say. But just something simple to introduce yourself, who you're with, or what you're advertising for today, and then welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers.
Okay, are you ready?
Whenever you are, I've got you set and ready to go.
All right.
Right
That's
on.
pretty good.
I like it.
Might have to keep that. That'll work.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
want a
let's
royalty.
stop. One and done.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a check for like 2 cents.
Just give it to me when you see me.
All right.
It costs him more in gas. No.